Well, hello, welcome back to the coffee break. I'm your host, Ron Ross. Today's episode is going to be a short one, but a really useful one. So I am talking percentages today. Yes, middle leaders, I am talking about math, but rest assured, it's going to be an easy lesson. So here's what I know about you. If you're like me, you have a boss that may or may not be great. You have a system that you need to work in. You have constraints. You have employees that have needs, that really need you. And sometimes, as that middle leader, you can feel pulled and stretched. You also have resources. You also have drive and initiative. But sometimes, because of the volume of things that are required by the system, by your manager, by your employees, it can feel overwhelming. It could feel like your task is to feed 1,000 people, but you only have food for 10. And that's really what I want to talk about, is we all get to that place where we feel like what's required of us is absolutely overwhelming and we shut down. We get a little frozen. I know I've been there. So I want to talk about this structure from this great organization called Liberating Structures. I had an opportunity to go to a workshop for an organization that I do work for. It's all around facilitation. It's all about making conversations safe. It's all about making everybody have a voice. More on that at another time. I got exposed to what they call liberating structures. On one hand, it's the freedom to kind of do things and to give people the space. And on the other hand, is structure, means there is a process with it. So one of the liberating structures I want to introduce you to, and here's the math lesson, is called the 15% solution. So what does that matter to you as a middle leader is when you have an idea, when you see an issue, but it feels daunting, it feels overwhelming, or you're buried in with all of this work, your schedule has no space, you can't take time for yourself, you can't take time to carve out that solution that's really going to help your team in the future or your organization. Sometimes you do nothing. 15% solution simply says, what do I have the resources that are within my control? What do I have the time to do at a 15% level? What is that 15% solution that allows me to activate and to solve some things now? So the reality is, once we start thinking about 15% and not thinking about solving the big world problems, things are released. So examples of a 15% solution is solving the world of homelessness. You don't have to solve that for your city, for your neighborhood, but if you can be kind to one person that you come across, give them something that they need. So I'm reminded of a friend, former colleague, I won't tell her story, but she shared with me how her and her husband after church, they went to this park and it's known to have homeless people there, and they executed a 15% solution, and inevitably by having some conversations, they were able to get someone that was off the street into a home. Now I'm sure when they wandered into the park, just trying to make contact, just trying to make their faith be in action, they weren't thinking they were going to have the impact that they did. But that's a great example of acting in the 15%. A smaller example is today, I have a packed schedule and I'm like, I can't exercise, but as I was doing some morning ritual, which is meditating, getting quiet, doing writing, I could feel this anxiety in me. And I'm like, I don't care. For 15, 20 minutes, I'm gonna do some vigorous exercise because I know it's gonna feel good to me. It may not feel good in the moment, but it's gonna release some of the extra anxiety. And that's exactly what I did. I ended up being on the treadmill for 30 minutes. It's an example. I would love to do 45 to 60 minutes, but that 30 minutes is really all I needed to get myself in this calm state of mind so that I could do this video, so that I can be my best self when I'm actually talking and meeting all the people that I need to meet today. So that's really it. It's all about the 15%. I lied, it's not math, but just think about what's in your control. What do you have the power to act on right now that you don't have to get authority from anybody else? And just do it. you have way more control than you think you do. You have way more options than you think you do. So, until the next time, I don't have my coffee mug, but enjoy the rest of your coffee break. I'm your host, Ron Ross. See you next time.